Pinus ponderosa, the ponderosa pine, is the single most important pine species in North America for timber, used for all kinds of building and construction purposes. Ponderosa pine, ponderosa or ponderous because the wood is heavy. The tree has a very heavy texture and appearance. Everything about it suggests heaviness. It has an unusual needle arrangement in that the needles can be in clusters of both 2 and 3. If you look at enough, you'll find combinations of 2s and 3s on the same tree, and that's very unusual. Typically pines have needles in one number only per cluster. The cones are rather large. They're heavily armed, very painful if you grab them, typically fist-shaped or slightly smaller. And when they fall off the tree, they leave the basal scales of the cone behind. So when you look at the cone on the ground, it's missing those scales, or if you look up at the tree, you'll see those basal scales. Everything about this tree is very coarse texture. It's a beautiful dark green. It actually makes a nice ornamental in the east, although it's a Rocky Mountain and Sierran species. It's extremely drought tolerant because it occurs in the montane zone of the western mountains where very little rainfall ever occurs. As it ages, the bark transitions from the first 100 years, it's mostly black and scaly. And then as they get hundreds of years old, these ridges become very rectangular and quite thick. This is a very fire-resistant tree because of the thick bark. And without fire, it actually has trouble regenerating. So fire is a really important part of the ecology of this species. Very important timber species, decent landscape tree, Pinus ponderosa, the ponderosa pine.